Okay, good evening. Thanks again for joining me for another episode of the OTL Chronicles. I'm Libby Reitman, your moderator for the evening, as usual. And for those of you watching for the first time, the OTL Chronicles has become a virtual place to meet and talk with some amazing athletes in the running community. It began really with an awe-inspired interest by me to learn how to run farther and longer, and developed into a forum to showcase runners from the OTL Assist Backyard Ultra Marathon that takes place each summer in Michigan. So as a last man standing event, these athletes can test their stamina and their sanity. And I've met some amazing people doing these chats, and tonight is going to be no exception. So for those watching who are already big fans of the Backyard Ultra Marathon, you probably followed, like I did, the OhiO Backyard Ultra that just took place over the weekend of March 20th, so last weekend as we're recording. When the event finally came to a close, my response was the usual, how do they do that? How do they run that far? No matter how many people I've talked to over the last couple of months, I'm still in awe of the athleticism, both physically and mentally. And so naturally, the next step was to annoy a couple of runners until they agreed to talk to me, and here we are. So I'm joined tonight by Mike Rowe on the bottom, OTL Chronicles veteran. And
hey guys, good to see you again.
Yeah, there's Mike. And some new faces. We're missing poor Gabe's face, but he's here on phone. So I've got Gabe Rainwater here with me, David Johnston, and Jacob Conrad. So thank you guys for agreeing to meet with me on kind of fairly short notice. Before we talk about the particulars of the event, there is one very, very important thing that I need to know. And that is, you find Mike Rowe as hard to get along with as we did.
That's not cool.
I'm just razzing you. We found him a joy. Did you?
Yep.
Okay, good. He wasn't just playing us, huh?
No.
So, but seriously, you've all competed in the OBU before, I believe. Is that correct?
I haven't.
You have not? Oh, this is your first time.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Mike?
Yeah, so I ran in November of last year.
Okay.
So this is the third year for OhiO Backyard Ultra. So I did not run the first year, but ran the second year.
Okay. How about you, Jacob?
This was my first year at the OBU.
Okay.
Well,
Gabe?
I ran a couple other events.
Okay. And then what about Gabe?
Yeah, I ran the first year, and then I ran this year, so.
Okay.
It was my second OBU.
Okay. So some of you were new to it, and others have been before. Okay.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have run it, twice now, what brought you back to it? What did you like about this race? And how about we start with Gabe?
Well, I really enjoy doing races that are as close to my house as possible. So this one was, in the same state, which is nice. And then I'm a big fan of the race director. So he reached out to me and wanted to know if I wanted to come and run. And the field of runners looked to be really strong, and so I thought, well, this looks like a really good opportunity to basically go as far as my body can go, because someone will still be going when I'm not. So that's what came back.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, second year back, actually, I did not sign up initially when the registration opened up. I honestly wasn't feeling real great from the November race, still dealing with some issues from that. But over time, as Gabe kind of said, man, the runners that Michael Owen was able to get signed up for this race were just huge names in the backyard events. So it was really hard to stay away. So I sent him a note, about 4 or 6 weeks ago, asking if he had room to get me in. And so ended up joining the field a little bit later than most, just to be able to run with, the guys on this call.
Okay, that's awesome. So it was more of a fan base decision to run.
For sure.
Nice. Oh, I love it. So let me give the people watching a little bit of a background on what the 2021 OBU was. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm getting my numbers off of ultrasignup.com, but it looked like from here that you had 108 participants, and about 36 of that 108 went 100 miles or more, which, I'm kind of new to this backyard style thing anyways, but that seems to be a pretty high number who were able to go 100 miles or more. And 7 of that 36 went 150 miles or more. And that's where you guys come in. The event ended when Jennifer Russo stopped at 225 miles. And so Harvey Lewis finished his final loop and was last man standing with 229 miles. So you 4 were right behind them for a long time. Until Jacob, I believe it was, that dropped, and Gabe that dropped, and then they went on the 2 of them. But Gabe, I kind of want to start with you because we don't place in these events, but technically you were 3rd place, and you ran 166.66 miles. So, from my snooping on Ultra Sign Up, I saw that you have a ton of races under your belt, and as far back as 2006, I think, is what I could see. And you have a lot of experience running 100-milers. You ran at Diggs in 2019. You did 150 miles. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
And you've also been on multiple episodes of Ridge Runners Live. Is that you, or was that
Yeah, that's
okay?
me.
So my first question is that thing called fame hard to get used to?
Is the what?
Is the thing called fame hard to get used to?
Oh, fame. Oh, sure, if that's what you want to call it. I still look up to plenty of people, and I don't know.
So I saw a ton of 50-milers, 100-milers that you had done in the past. What got you into backyard style?
Just the next challenge, basically. I've been running hundreds for a number of years, and I had a buddy who was like, check this out. This race, they just run until there's only one person running. And I was like, that's really crazy. I can't imagine doing that. And then next year I was doing it. So, ultra running is all about testing your limits. And so it was just another way to test my limit.
Yeah, that's what I first thought when I heard about it too. I was like, that sounds crazy. I probably need to sign up and try that.
Yeah, and it's mentally, for me, it's more of a challenge, or as much of a challenge as physically. Just mentally, I find it to be very challenging.
Yeah. Well, was there something in particular for last weekend's run that brought the end for you, or were you just out of gas?
I don't think I did enough pavement running in my training, and so the pavement started really eating me up the second time. So that's kind of what did me in. And then having those Harvey and the other lady, I'm blanking on her name.
Jennifer.
Jennifer. They were just looking really strong, and I was like, I could just keep plugging along here for another 6 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours, and who knows? So I was just kind of throwing the towel. But physically, I was pretty shot. So.
Okay.
But that's the backyard. That's the, that's, you just, you say, well, I could keep going or I could stop, and
yeah,
it's just a lot of times it's a lot easier to stop.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I hear ya. So what does Laz always say? Like you keep going until you think you can't win, or something along those lines.
Yeah. Right.
It's true for everybody.
Coming into it, yeah. I knew Harvey was he was basically, I knew he was the strongest one there. I was hoping to go farther, but it just wasn't in the cards. So.
Okay.
Oh well.
Well, you still did pretty darn good. So, congratulations on the 166.66 miles. So, Mike, I'll move on to you next. You technically placed fourth with 162.5 miles, and I think that was a PR for you.
Yeah, by over 30 miles.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you ran with us at OTL in 2020. You won the assist, and at that race, you did 112.5 miles. So then you went on to OBU in 2020, back in November, you said, and ran 129.16 miles. So yeah, you did extend that by a fair amount. What did you do differently this time?
I don't know if it's really doing things different. It's just you learn so much in this race, right? And you can't train for what you learn. You can't train for what you're going to feel like at 120 miles. You just have to live it and experience that once or twice and kind of figure out, hey, this worked or this didn't. Or, you got a lot of people that you're sharing miles with on those trails, man. I shared a lot of miles with David. It was a lot of fun picking his brain, him telling me about all kinds of races he's done. And, you just try to, this community is great because they want to talk and share and give you tips. And, my camp was set up next to Gabe's camp for a little bit. And, my crew's out talking to Gabe's wife, like, hey, give me some advice. What do we do here? It's, this was my third ultra ever, and the guys on this call, they've got hundreds combined of ultras. So there's so much you can learn from everybody. You just, try to keep learning new things and trying different things and have some success.
Yeah. Well, you did great, and we're proud of you from the family here at OHD. So now that you've had these experiences running trails, are you going to go back to road marathons?
It's so hard to tell, right? Probably, at least the Columbus one, because it's in the backyard, in my backyard right here. So,
yeah,
I'd like to keep some trails going and 1 or 2 hundreds or something a year if possible, or backyard style.
Yeah.
We'll see. Nothing for sure right now of what the future looks like, but excited to get out and give it another shot. For sure.
Okay. Awesome. How, being, I think, the only person here who has run OBU and ODLAS now, how does the race course differ?
So the biggest difference is that OD is a single track trail, where OBU is wide open. Like, it's a really nice course. Both are really nice, obviously, but in different ways. OhiO's Backyard Ultra has, a couple really large climbs and then, very little elevation in different parts of the course, where OD is constant, just kind of up and down. There's only one large climb in Ode. It's the Stairway to Heaven. But outside of that, it's just constant kind of up and down single trail, where OhiO's Backyard Ultras, definitely got some flat runnable sections with just a couple larger climbs.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So Gabe, we're getting a lot of chatter through your phone. I think it's yours. I don't know if there's like a better spot that you stand on your property for good signal.
Yeah, I can move around, but I can also. I mean, if it's too bad, I can leave. I mean, it's no big deal. Whatever.
No, but it almost sounds like we're like picking up other signals, doesn't it?
Well, it sounds. Yeah, I hear that. It sounds almost like it.
I think it's Jacob's phone, actually.
Oh, Jacob's?
I think so. If you guys, or whoever, when we're not talking, we can all mute.
Yeah, so I don't know if Gabe can mute it though.
No, I don't have that option to mute.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
It's okay. We'll go through it, but I didn't know if like sometimes my parents live out in the middle of nowhere and they have to stand like at a certain corner of their house to get a good signal.
Well, I'm staying outside, so I don't know really.
Sounds
where
like
else
it's
to
fixed
go.
now.
Whatever you did and whatever anybody did just helped. So maybe it was Jacob because he muted himself. Oh well, whatever. Moving on.
Okay.
The beauties of the digital format, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to move into David and Jacob. You can hold for a second, but I'm just going to comment that you guys actually tied for 5th place. You completed the same amount of loops, 154.16 miles. But David, you have run a lot, and I really had no idea about any of you guys except Mike, because I had met him before. So when I got you on here, I had to do a lot of snooping and find out who you were. And when I Googled your name, David, I saw like a million things. So,
Yeah.
and then I texted Mike and I was like, oh my God, I think David Johnston is like kind of a big deal. And he said,
What'd I tell you? I said he's a legend. Man.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for joining this meager thing here. But you've run a ton, and some of the things that stood out to me when I was looking at your resume on Ultra Sign Up was some of these huge multi-day events that you've done. A couple in Alaska you've done, and I think you used to live there, if I'm right. But you've done multi-day races where you've gone 350 miles, 450 miles. Race in Wisconsin, it was like 427 miles. You've just done a ton of stuff. So what got you into backyard style? And do you do anything different to prepare for this kind of race versus those multi-day events that aren't backyard style? Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. I think Joe Feegis got me into Laz's Backyard Ultra, and then it was like the other guys said, it's kind of an interesting format, so you kind of get addicted to that format, and it's definitely not the easiest format out there.
Yeah.
Even though this one was the easiest, ultra race over 100 miles that I've ever done, because I had my wife there crewing for me. And I told her, just keep getting me out of the chair for 36 hours and then your job is done. And that's why I only made it 37 hours. Because after 37, she's like, okay, you've got plenty of time. Get back out there. I said, nope, you can't make me get out there anymore. My job's done. So it was easy going in with a goal and then accomplishing the goal and going home. So.
Okay. That's funny you mentioned that, because that was going to be my question for everyone is, did you set a goal? And I ask this whenever I talk to anybody for these runs. Did you set a goal for mileage or for however many laps? And do you think that setting that goal helps you or hinders you?
So this time it definitely helped, because usually I don't set a goal. Usually it's to place very high or to win or something like that. And those days are kind of fleeting. So, now I'm trying to have a little more fun by setting goals and then trying to accomplish them. So,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. How about the rest of you? Did you set a goal for this, or did you just want to be the last man standing? Jacob, let's unmute you. Tell me, did you set a goal?
So, yeah, no, I didn't really have a goal. The goal was just to find out how far I could go this day. So,
Okay.
so I got the answer. I found out how far I could go.
Well, that's good. And how about you, Gabe?
I don't really remember. I think my goal was to be the last man standing. But I feel like I've done quite a few backyard ultras, and I feel like it's a natural progression. You can't go from 100 milers to 300 milers. So my goal was to go. I've gone 200. So my goal was anything over 200. It obviously didn't work out, but I was hoping. So I think 250 that's sort of my next milestone I'm gunning for now. So
Okay.
next time, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I'm always lots of little goals. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, I still get super psyched to hit 100 miles, man. I crossed 100 miles putting the hands in the air. Like I know for not everyone, a lot of these guys on the call, like, they know they're going a lot farther than that. I don't always know that. I'm still new enough. And so, I was psyched about 100. I was psyched when I passed, what I did last time. So to go over, 129, that was a goal to get to 150. That was a goal, and then at that point it was like, yeah, let's try 200, and, so obviously fell pretty short of that, but, learned a ton along the way and, happy to cross off all those little goals along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your goals kind of evolve as the race continues.
Yeah, like I get the strategy of, not getting happy with a goal, because a lot of people may stop at those. So I figure as long as I got a whole bunch of those goals along the way, it's easy to keep checking and say, hey, mentally, I'm almost to that next goal. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let me get one more loop because I'm almost there to the next goal I had. And so, I kind of try to chunk it out that way this time.
Okay. Yeah, because I find whenever I have a goal, you get within a couple miles of that goal, and then your body's like, okay, I'm almost there, I'm done. And you just get even more tired than you probably would have been if you hadn't even set one. So I never know what to do about that. But so David, coming back to you, do you do anything different to prepare for the ultra or the backyard style than you would have for any other multi-day event?
Not really. And I think this year has been really different, for everybody. So I think the whole reason that I even signed up for this one in Ohio was to keep getting myself off the couch. It's been a tough year. And I've heard that all over, even though some people have gone through the roof with their mileage with COVID. But a lot of people have really not done well. But no, just getting out there and running. I think for training, you can train as slow as you want because, you can run pretty slow and make the 4.2 mile loop in an hour. So that just getting the miles under your belt. I think to really do well at a backyard and to win them, you should probably put in at least 100 miles a week, I would feel, if you really want to do well at them. Usually a rule of thumb for me is run as many miles a week as you want to run in a day. So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So same with 24-hour race. If you want to run a 150 mile 24-hour race, you should put in, 140, 150 mile weeks. So. Okay.
For how many weeks would you do that for?
Yeah, you want to do it year long, year round.
Oh man. Okay. I'm Now,
I don't run that many miles.
yeah, that's okay. So here's another one of my questions that you guys are just naturally going into. How do you balance running and training for these kind of events? Because you guys are training, you're just never not training. Let's be honest. You know, guys that are of your caliber, you're probably always training. And so how do you balance that with your job, with your life, with your family? Like, if you're doing 100 plus miles a week, that's a lot of running. Is everybody cool with that?
For the record, like, you know, I sit and watch Jacob's Strava, and I see all the miles that guy's putting in. But then I look, man, it'd be a lot easier to get all these miles in if I was as fast as him. So it's a lot harder for us slower guys.
That's true. The faster you go, the faster it's done, right? So.
And my wife encourages me to run. She can tell if I haven't run because I get a little grumpy. She's like, "You didn't run today, did you?"
Okay. Gabe, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, and I like to go by hours or time rather than miles. So like for me, I like to be, you know, if I'm running, my highest mileage hours are, you know, between 12, 15, 16-hour weeks. And that way I'm not so focused on mileage.
Okay.
That's what, and I probably, to be honest, I probably run fairly low miles for your average ultra runner. But my body, I like recovery. I like to take, I'm like 2 days a week off where I don't run. And so that's kind of and I have a great wife. She works full time and I work part time. And so, you know, I'm able to run and still spend time with the kids and have a pretty balanced life because of her. So I'm pretty lucky.
Very good.
And I think on his days off he lifts weights because he's built like a brick house.
That's true. I do strength training. Yeah. And my job, I'm a stone mason, so I do stone work for my day job. So
that explains
sometimes,
it.
Sometimes I think I'd be faster if I was leaner, but I might not have the longevity that I do. So
yeah,
you know, it is what it is.
Jacob, how about you? Do you have a balance, or are you just running all the time?
I like, personally, I like high volume, but it's kind of limited just by amount of time in the day. So I start my workday at 5:30, and I have about an hour and a half in the afternoon in the weekdays. So I can usually go out and get 10 or 12 during the weekdays, and then a long run on the weekend, which, I guess a normal training week, I'm up around 100.
Okay.
But, you know, kind of, that's a struggle with family balance. Like, I think to be a better runner, I'd run more, and, you know, always love to spend more time with the family too. So it's definitely a balancing act.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I found that working part-time definitely helped. So it just sound like I'm not a morning person. I can't wake up at 4 a.m. like Mike and go run around the block like 20 times. So I do I do most of my running after work is when I feel the best, really, and it helps burn off steam and stuff. But you only got so long, and then you gotta go to bed again. So it's a challenge. But I'm not running anything like you guys are, so that's always one of my first thoughts. Like, where do they find the time? So Jacob, we talked about everybody else, but I didn't go through some of the things that you've done that I was looking upon, and you've done a ton of 50 and a ton of events. And last year, 2020, you placed first at Bob's Big Timber Backyard Ultra with 170.83 and change miles. So did you go to Biggs last year?
Yeah, I did go to Biggs last year. Bob's was a golden ticket last year. So by winning that, I got a chance to go to Biggs. And, I was kind of thinking you get a chance to go to a race like that, you can't say no. So
Yeah.
I went, and I had a pretty good race there. I'm glad I got the chance to go. It was a neat experience.
Yeah. I thought I saw, I thought I recognized your name from that roster, but I didn't see it. It didn't show up on Ultra Sign Up. So that's why I was like, yeah, I thought he was there. So,
All three of these guys were there, Libby, all of them.
yeah, I know.
Sure.
I know you guys are like Biggs veterans. So Dave, you've been there a couple of times, right? And Dave, have you been there more than once too, Dave?
Yeah, I went last year and the year before.
Right. Okay.
The year before I got in, like, the race started on Saturday morning, and I got in like Friday morning at like 3 a.m. in the morning or something.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when I guess Jacob, so when you look back at a lot of the races that you've run, and looking back at Biggs, comparing it to the course at OBU, do you think that the course makes a significant difference in how long or how far you can go?
Yeah, I think it does. I think what really helps is having an easy night course where you can kind of zone out. So I would say Biggs and OBU were similar. It was mostly blacktop, and it was pretty flat, so you could kind of just get out of your head and cruise.
Okay.
And, both of them, I'd say they were pretty similar for the day course. Maybe OBU was slightly easier on the day course, just less technicality, but,
Okay.
kind of in the same neighborhood.
Okay. So it's good practice for Biggs then. Jacob, can you pinpoint? Yeah. Can you pinpoint anything in particular that finished the event for you this year? Because you did 170 miles at Bob's Big Timber. So was there something that was was off this year, or was anything can happen really, but.
Yeah, I started having some physical issues, probably started 5 or 6 loops prior on the trail loop. I started to get really tight, like the tendons behind my knee. And it kind of similar issue knocked me out at Biggs. I was able to hang on a little bit longer at Biggs, but it just got tighter and tighter. And I thought, well, maybe if I can make it with the road loop, the smooth running will make it easier. But it's like as soon as I got out in the pavement, the impact of it was, in particular, my left knee, it was really bothering it. So I knew as long as I kept moving, I'd be able to complete that loop. But it was just getting, kind of swollen and super, super tight. So as soon as I got off the loop, like I wasn't even able to walk.
Oh, wow.
Into the loop. So I was thinking, that's probably going to end it. And I told Michael Owen, the race director, I think I'm done. He said, we'll go back out for another loop. And, well, I guess I made it off the chair and I made it up the first climb, and I knew that was it. And I turned around and went back to camp. Like, at this point, I just couldn't move anymore. So
Okay.
that was it. So I was trying to see how far I could go, and that was it.
Yeah. How is your recovery now? How's the knee doing?
It feels pretty good. As the swelling's gone down, I've got some mobility back, so I've been running. I think I ran Wednesday for about a mile, and just 3 or 5 miles a day, nothing crazy fast, but
Oh, that's good. So everybody can walk. Everybody's been running a little bit. Okay. So I mean, this is a question for anybody who'd want to answer, but I think you probably know what the downs were for Jacob was probably that knee bugging the entire time. But were there any major ups or downs that you went through during the race? And can you describe a little bit of it? How about we start with David?
Oh, well, the ups were running with these guys. I got to formally meet all 3 of them, and Mike was a hoot. I mean, I'm the friendliest person out on a course. And that's my goal, is to be the last person smiling. And
Nice.
I got trumped by Mike on that, and he's the reason I dropped out, because he quit talking to me about hour 30. He got serious, and I was like, okay, if he's going to get serious like this, then I don't need to be out here. Great. It was great to talk to all 3 of them and get to know them, and I really look forward to racing with them again, and hopefully we can plan a race where all of us are in there and help each other get really big miles, because I think that this type of race, you help your competitors out in this. You don't ever want them to fail, especially once you know them. So those were the ups, and I didn't really have any downs. I just kept cruising until I didn't feel like being there anymore. That road is kind of scary. I think that second night I was like, man, I'm gonna get killed out here if I start sleep running out there. It was, but
speaking of scary things, David. So when I Googled your name, I found a little mini documentary about your 2015 Iditarod multi-day race. And you mentioned,
that was pretty scary.
Yeah. So you mentioned in that documentary that you had after the event, you had kind of PTSD dreams about still being out there and stuff. Have you had any issues with backyard style nightmares or anything like that? You just dream that you're running in circles over and over or something?
No, I've done that Iditarod race 7 times, and that's the only race I've really had PTSD after, just because it's so cold and so tough, and you push yourself. You really can't stop or you'll freeze to death. So you push yourself into oblivion. And I've seen a lot of people push over the limit in that race and crack, and you're always right there. So, but that's the only race I've done that in, because you can't not do that. These other races you can stop whenever you want.
Right.
But that race you can't stop.
Okay, gotcha. God, it does sound scary.
It was. I'm retired from that.
Nobody will come pick you up on a snowmobile. You don't get a GPS SOS button or anything.
And you'll be dead by the time they pick you up.
Oh God. Okay. You get chased by a grizzly bear or something.
They're all asleep. There.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. They're hibernating. Oh my gosh. So speaking of sleeping, did anybody sleep during this event this past weekend? Were there any cat naps happening? No.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
My wife says I did sleep once, but I don't think I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see Harvey sleeping at all, or Rachel? Right.
Jennifer.
I think
Jennifer.
she was
Sorry,
asleep.
I say Rachel. I'm like, that wasn't right.
Harvey was asleep for the first 200 miles, I think. He finally woke up.
Oh God. Yeah. So what's it gonna take to beat Harvey? Because I mean, I love me some Harvey Lewis. I'm a big super fan because he's done the Appalachian Trail and that's my jam. But I was really someone's gotta beat Harvey. Come on. So what's it gonna
Courtney, apparently Courtney.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You
So
could tell him he's not allowed to pee while he runs. I think you beat him then because he pees all over the whole course the whole way. You can tell where
yeah,
he's been. It's so gross.
yeah, I've seen photos of the trickles. So, oh, Harvey. Well, I mean, maybe that's what it takes.
Yep.
No bathroom breaks. Just go. So, when you guys, like you mentioned, always being hyped up to get to that 100-mile mark, when you get close to and then you surpass that 100-mile mark, you got to start running out of things to think about when you're running. And so are you guys chatting the whole time, or what is exactly going through your brain as you're doing this loop? Gabe, let's hear from you first.
Yeah, so I like talking for the first little while, but then I actually find myself not wanting to talk very much the later the race goes. I like to listen to people, but for me to talk, I feel like it takes too much energy. I don't know. And I actually, so I usually, what I learned at Biggs was they had a rule where you couldn't listen to your music or headphones during the day, and you put them on at night. And that really helped. So at night I listened to my music, and then during the day I would take it off, and then it gave me something to look forward to at night to put my music back in.
Okay.
So that's kind of, for the first 100 miles, I like to talk, and then after that, it just takes too much energy for me. But I like to run around a couple guys or a couple people, a little group, and listen to what they're talking about, and just kind of hang back about 15 feet, and because it gives me something to think about. But
Okay.
I'm not a huge talker. I mean, some people who know me say I really like to talk, but I don't think of myself as a big talker.
Okay. Jacob, how about Jacob? Any strange mantras or anything that you're employing after 100 miles?
No, kind of similar to Gabe. Early in the race, it's fun to run in a group, chat with people, and then I find as the race moves on, it's kind of the mind of shred. So, I kind of just zone in on,
I think Jacob's connection is waning.
You're breaking up.
You're breaking up, man. I only got about half of that.
All right, I'll try to get see if I can move pretty close to my router here. So, kind of similar to Gabe.
We'll just.
I like running with. Oh, do I need to mute it yet?
We're only catching little bits of it, Jacob. I'm gonna just have you smile and give me the thumbs up every now and then. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We're still with you. All right. David, how about you? I mean, you probably have a lot of moments in your past running career that you've had plenty of time to think about random stuff. So, are you thinking about anything, or?
Oh, it's definitely just the social aspect. I like. Usually the goal in the race is to at least say hey and have a teeny little conversation with everybody in the field. So, after 100 miles, the field has dwindled down. So there's only like five or 10 people that I haven't said hey to. So I'll go hunt them out, Yeah. And then I kind of name hills and stuff, or like that one hill at OhiO. That's awful, and I'd be halfway up that every time, and I'd say, my favorite hill. I love this hill. Or Mike was taking off the last 5 loops, and he would be like a few hundred yards ahead of him. Go Mikey! Every time I'd see him. So making nicknames for people, just anything to cut up. Yeah.
Yeah, anything to change the monotony, huh?
Mm-hmm. But it was
Mike,
crazy. One thing is, it seemed like people were more chatty and vivacious on the road, and I mean on the trail, and on the road everybody got quiet. So that was kind of weird. And it seems like at Biggs, it's the opposite.
Okay.
So I don't know why that was.
I think it's because on the road, if you're not single file line, there's a good chance you're getting hit by a driver going down that road. So that is one nice thing about the trail course, is that it is super wide. Like, it is easy to get people running next to one another. You know, it's not a single track where you're stuck kind of just single file. But on the road, you know, at least those early hours of the night, there are a lot of cars going. And so you really can't run, you know, too far across there. I think that's one reason, David, but I would agree. I mean, everyone, you know, these races are just great because everyone just wants to chat it up, right? Everyone wants their mind off the race a little bit. So, you know, I love trying to meet new people, you know, pair up with someone maybe a little bit different every lap, you know, get to know them and their families. Certainly did that with all the guys here on that call. And, you know, I'd say one thing that I thought was really cool about this race was, you know, I think we had 38, you know, that made it 100 miles, and there was only one person that did not go onto that next loop. You know, like 100 is such a big number where I think it's so easy for people to quit there. To only have one person, you know, not attempt the trail loop was pretty cool. And you know, that's stuff that, you know, is pretty rewarding when you start to try to get that motivation that you just see everybody is in it to see what they've got in them. You know, it's not just hit a number and be done. It is just keep pounding as long as I can. So.
Right. Yeah, that is awesome.
The guy who didn't go out for the trail loop, who hit 100 miles, he ran his last loop for 100 miles. He ran it in like 30 minutes and 10 seconds or something.
Oh.
He was in it for 100 miles. That was it. He was running as hard as he could.
He was running with us for most of the race, like during the day and stuff. And he kept telling me, he kept saying, "I'm gonna go as fast as I possibly can on the last loop." And he came back and said he ran like 30 minutes, 10 seconds for the last.
That's crazy.
He could have taken a nap and gone back out.
I know.
Well, everybody's different. Everybody has different goals and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
well, I think the farthest he'd ever run was like 20 miles or something. It wasn't very far.
Right.
So
you never know. So that's awesome. I mean, he just wanted to get it. He just wanted it to be done and over. So he just hurried up to the finish line. So we talked a little bit about your recovery, you know, or trying to recover. Is it challenging for you guys to accept the recovery phase? I think, Gabe, you said you actually like recovering. But, you know, when you're running these big miles and you know especially if you know what your next event is going to be in a couple of months, is it hard to give yourself enough time to recover? Or have you guys gotten pretty good at forcing yourself to rest?
Well, I think the best thing to do is just to get back out there as fast as you can. That's the quickest way to recover. That's why guys like Harvey do so well, as they just get right back on the horse and go. You know, the longer you sit around and stuff, you can never get all that junk out of your system as fast, you know. So best thing to do is get back at it.
What if you're having a nagging knee issue though, like Jacob?
Well, that's why you got two knees.
Suck it up, Buttercup, right? Oh man, all right. David, I'm not sure if that would be a good coaching point. You just run through that injury. Come on now. But so what do you guys have coming up in the future? Now that races are actually starting to happen again, right?
Yeah. So I have a 50K I'm running in 3 weeks here locally, and then I have the Mohican 100-mile race, which is in OhiO in Loudonville at Mohican State Park.
Yeah.
And I've done it. That'll be my 15th year in a row doing that race.
I saw that you had, that you've done that a ton.
Yeah. So, and then actually I've kind of learned over the last couple of years that I really don't like running in the heat. So especially running long distances in the heat. So I think I'm going to try to take like July and August, and I'm not going to run anything too long.
Okay.
I'll do something long in the fall.
You don't want to come to Odelaz in July?
Well, I ran Bob's Big Timber last year with Jacob, and it was like the end of July, 1st of August. And to run, I don't mean to talk bad about it, but that's just too hot and humid. And it's just, to run far, for me, I can't do it in that type of weather. So
yeah,
I like OhiO backyard was like my wheelhouse for weather. I mean, it was borderline warm with 65 degrees and sunny.
Yeah.
But at night 30 degrees. I'd take 30s and 50s all day. So
yeah, you guys had amazing weather.
Yeah, it was like 3 days of weather jackpot is what I kept saying.
Yeah. I kept looking at the feed and everything, and I was like, man, they are getting lucky with that weather. Yeah. It was the perfect weekend.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
So, Jacob, do you have anything coming up soon this year that you're pumped about?
Yeah, I'm excited we'll see how that.
Oh, we're only getting half of that again. I'm just gonna have you give me a thumbs up.
Jacob will run Mohican. He'll be running Mohican with me.
Okay, good.
Like he's finished second the last 3 years. I think he's been second overall at Mohican 100. 3 or 4 years in a row, he's been second place. So I'm pretty sure he's pretty sure looking to win it this year.
Well, it should help him that he'll have a little bit more than 2 weeks off from his prior event and be going into Mohican. So Gabe and Jacob running Mohican last year, it was right on the heels of Biggs. So they both ran 200 miles at Biggs and turned around 11 days later and ran Mohican 100.
Oh my gosh! And I heard that course is not easy. The Mohican course.
No, it's not. But due to COVID, they moved it from June. It's normally in June. They moved it to the last weekend of October last year. So this year it'll be back in June, hopefully. So
okay,
it'll be the heat. The heat will be on.
Yeah. I was kind of excited when some of the races here in Michigan got moved from the summer to the fall too, because it's just so much better running. I mean, it can be it can get a little sketchy with the leaves covering the trail so much, with the roots and stuff being hidden, but the temperature is just so much better. But you have to get for these races, we have a time limit of when you can earn that golden ticket, and I believe it's in August. There's a date in August that Laz cuts it off.
Gotcha.
So that's why you see so many of them in the summer. But so speaking of the golden ticket, and I should have looked this up ahead of time, but do you guys know what happens? Since Harvey was the assist last year at Biggs, and he gets an automatic entry into this upcoming year's Biggs. What happens to the golden ticket that he won with you guys?
I heard he gave it to Mike.
No. No, it's officially gone.
I heard Laz is strapped. He doesn't have enough spots for the number of people he's got coming. So he was really happy that Harvey was already in and took a golden ticket because it's just one less person that has to come.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think Laz has he's got an issue on his hands, and it's getting the backyard running ultras is getting bigger than what he thought. He's got an issue I have to figure out. It's just, I mean, it's getting bigger than what he's got room for. His venue is very small, and he really can't have more than whatever he caps his race at his place. I mean, it's just that small. So
okay.
And I think he loves his international runners, which is, it's really cool to be running on a trail and have people talking all different types of languages. And, but it's going to be, I think it's just going to get harder and harder to get into, and, it'll be interesting. But, it'll just be, it's going to be difficult. It's getting too big.
Yeah.
So even though the ticket then is kind of gone at this point, I mean, Jennifer obviously puts herself hopefully at the top of a list to potentially get in, of completing 225 herself. So I mean, it's interesting. So you have her at 225, and then you got like the guys here, Gabe doing 200 last year, Jacob 204, and Sarah doing 200. Right? It's hard to turn those people away. People that have proven themselves at bigs. You got a lot of people that are on the outside kind of looking in right now that, I selfishly as an outsider watching, man, I hope they all can get in.
Yeah. I mean, personally, that's what I actually really liked the format last year, that was forced upon them to do it as a team. I mean, everybody, people wanted to be the last person standing for their country, obviously, but I liked that team aspect too. That you only can win as many points for your team the more people that are continuing. So, I think I was hoping that maybe that would be like the new thing, but it sounds like he's going to go back to the previous format.
Yeah.
That has been what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Laz's trail course is I found it to be very challenging. It's really technical with rocks and roots. And so, I mean, it's nice to have everyone. If you want to have a world championship, it's really nice to have everyone on the same course, because the course makes a big difference. And same weather, but it's just, he can only have so many people at his place, and so I don't know. And it's his race, so I say he can do whatever he wants, because it's his house, and he can fight whoever he wants. So
it's
his deal, man.
It's all good fun, whatever the format is, but so we'll see. I think I am going to try to wrap it up, guys. I told you an hour, and I'm actually going to stick to it this time. I've been known to say an hour, and then 2 hours later, we're still here. So I'm going to try to stick to it this time. Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about the event that I didn't ask you about? Anything you can think of to share with people, maybe who are interested in checking out OBU?
The only thing I can say is if you haven't tried a backyard ultra, try it. Even if you're not a long distance runner, it's a great opportunity to go as far as you've ever gone. And I see that in a lot of backyard ultras where people are like, this is the farthest I've ever gone. And so it's a great place to do it, or great opportunity at any of the backyard ultras across the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, we're talking about it's going to be harder and harder, I think, to get into big dogs. But, it also means that more of these other events will have stacked fields. So I would say, Ohio Backyard is definitely one to keep on your radar as far as if you want to run as far as you possibly can, because I think the field will be stacked next year. And it's a great course. It's got the trail, got the flat pavement road. and it's usually, the 2 years I did the first year and I did it this year, and both years it was just gorgeous weather. So I can't say enough. And the race director's great, and it's a great
Yep.
venue, and very, very well done. So.
Yeah, I was just gonna give a shout out. I mean, I just think there's something special about any race director willing to take on a backyard format, because it's a long time that they're out there, man, and they're not getting naps. So Michael Owen's the best. Tad at OTL Assist is the best. I mean, these guys are some of the best race directors out there for sure. And so support them, support all the races that they do, because it's an incredible time for sure.
Yeah. Well, we hope that from everyone at OTL Assist, we hope that you check out our race as well. Even if you're just going to come and run it as a recovery run, we don't care. It's a party all night, whether you're going to run one lap or many. And we always try to encourage people who might think that, I can't run more than 8 miles. Well, so what? Come and join, because it's a lot of fun, and maybe you can run more than 8 miles.
What's the date of your race?
It is. Oh gosh.
July 10th. It's July 10th.
Is it the 10th? Hang on.
Yeah,
is
it's
it
my
10th?
wife's birthday. It's July 10th.
Okay. Uh-oh. So Saturday, July 10th. So just plan on the whole weekend, right?
There you go, Tuesday. Take Tuesday off.
Yeah, take Monday and Tuesday off, and maybe the rest of the week, so you can
Is
hang
Mike
out.
gonna be there?
I don't think I'm going. I'm registered right now, but with the wife's birthday, it'll probably be a pass for this year and be back the following year. So
Sarah's running.
She wants to. There's nothing more she could possibly want for her birthday than to watch all your kids by herself while you go out and run 200 miles.
Yeah, that sounds right. And I know I think Tanner Lee, is signed up for it from OBU. Obviously, Sarah is. I was trying to think some of the OBU. I think there were a couple others, but it's a great race. I know Tad wants it to be as competitive as possible, man. So I sure hope we get some folks in there.
Yeah, I'll be there annoying people, but I'm hoping to do 50 miles. Well, we'll see. That'll be the farthest I've ever gone. So
Sweet.
Yeah. So we invite you to join us, and we'd love to see your smiling faces there. So I'll just wrap it up. Thank you guys again for taking the time to join me. I know it's challenging to take away time from your family and everything to do something like this. So I really appreciate it. Jacob, we got to get you a better system over there, buddy. I'm going to send you some new headphones. But I really appreciate you being on with us. Yeah, that's a good thumbs up. Yeah. And hopefully we will get a chance in the future to actually meet in person. So once again, thanks for joining the Ode Chronicles, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Libby.
Thanks.